I slept really good last night, and the reason I slept well last night is because they didn't fuck me. They didn't screw me. They didn't royally make my day like awful. I'm going into Game 7 at 8 o'clock in Detroit, looking at a team that has not won multiple road games. They've won one road game out of the 6 attempts they've had so far. So I'm thinking in my head, they should have closed the series out in Game 6. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, if I had a nickel for every time we should have closed out a series in Game 6, and the team just completely fell apart in spectacular fashion, I have 2 nickels. But if I had a nickel for every time Jared Allen had a monster Game 7, I'd have 2 nickels. I'm so happy. Like, Jared Allen. So last time I played heavily into the lights weren't too bright for Jared Allen thing thumbnail. I don't know if I did as well, but yeah, if you saw this thumbnail, yeah, the lights were not too bright, and we're finally going back to Madison Square Garden. We're finally getting another chance to play against the New York Knicks. I want to see how this team has adapted and changed. Really, I want to see how this team has changed and how they're going to play against the New York Knicks. I really am very interested in that. I did not think that this team would win Game 7. I'm going to be honest. I thought that a lot of the problems that I had seen in the previous two, like just Browns in general, would rear their ugly head in Game 7 and it would just be over with. They played so great on the road last night. They hit every single stride. The offense looked high powered. And the thing about last night's offense is it wasn't just the guys that you expect, right? It wasn't just, oh yeah, well, we're not gonna get a lot of production from Harden last night, but we're gonna get a variance game from Strus, right? No, Sam Merrill was the variance this game. Jared Allen was the variance this game, and Jared Allen, I have not been as hard on Jared Allen as a lot of people have been, but again, everything Jared Allen does for you really is a bonus. Especially considering he's the primary defender on most centers, and the way he plays defense and how they nullified Jalen Duren, who was an all-star. That's something that I don't think a lot of people are ready for, right? Sorry. Obviously, it's going to be a completely different ball game with Karl-Anthony Towns because Karl-Anthony Towns can stretch the floor, and we saw in the rare few moments where Jalen Duren got the ball and he caught it at the top of the key, and he was able to get some momentum going to the hoop. That was actually really difficult for the bigs to stay in that position. The reason this is going to be even harder is because instead of being able to just play drop coverage, which is basically when you're backed up closer to the paint and you're willing to live and you can move your feet basically back there. But, if you're all the way out on the perimeter, if you get blown by once, it's pretty much over, especially if they allow you to put your elbow into the back of the defender once you get past them. That's been a 50-50 call, in my opinion. I think it depends on where the refs are. But I don't think a lot of players are thinking immediately where the refs are when they're going to make an offensive move that they make a lot of the time that's not consistently called a foul. Karl-Anthony Towns is someone that they should be looking to actively flop against and draw offensive fouls from because Karl-Anthony Towns has one of the worst whistles in the league. I am saying this as a competitor. I am not saying this as a ethical hoop watcher. I'm saying this as a competitor. They should be looking to draw as many offensive fouls from him as possible. Cat makes his team very special, and I know a lot of people in New York know this, but I don't think a lot of people league-wide know this. Cat makes his team very, very, very much so special. What they should really look to do is put Dean Wade on Brunson. I know we put him on Cade, and yes, Cade is a great difficult shot maker. Jalen Brunson is a completely different level of difficult shot making, to be quite honest, right? Cade makes difficult shots all of the time, though, and it's because his team spacing is not the greatest all the time, and he has to make difficult reads and stuff like that, and he has to make floaters, and like even with the defense being draped all over him, it's tough. But Jalen Brunson is a different level of that. That is going to be something to look out for. I am not really concerned I might be a little concerned about OG Anunoby and how he stretches the floor, but I'm not sure if he's clear to play. I don't know how healthy he really is, right? And OG has been a massive difference maker for them this season, right? I think that if you're really thinking about it and looking at this can go 6 or 7 in either direction. I'm hoping it doesn't go 7 again because, oh my god, I don't know if I can take much more of this, man. Cleveland is undefeated in Game 7s in the postseason, and I'm just like, yeah. But, like, what if you closed it out in 6? Just a thought. And I know a lot of people are saying to themselves, Cleveland is not standing a chance in this series. First of all, I think we're giving way too much praise to the New York Knicks. I will give them the praise when they earn it for me. They have not played anyone that I am impressed with. The Sixers with a very haggled Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey not hitting on all strides. That's not the same thing. You're not going to get that from this team, to be honest. Now, I will be completely fair to them. The things that I saw from Tyrese Maxey in the series are something that I could realistically see Donovan Mitchell playing like. My thing is, I think Donovan Mitchell has finally shown me signs that his playmaking has really taken a lifting, and it's really because of Harden, right? I think Harden has been able to teach him things like that. I don't know if Garland was really able to teach Mitchell things. I think Mitchell saw what Garland was doing and was like, oh, well, that's not something that I'm capable of doing. It's not my role, and the team's not really asking that of me. But now that it's Harden, and Harden can be in foul trouble, Harden can be tired and stuff like that. It's a grueling series, by the way. I also just don't think that they're going to have the same matchups for Harden that they did. Harden is not going to be able to just look for a Duncan Robinson to be on the court. That's not going to happen. Harden's not going to be able to look for Tobias Harris and be able to get fouls out of him. There's a Karis LeVert-esque guy on the Knicks, but actually, never mind. I was going to say something like, I don't see Mike Brown playing them, and then I thought about it for more than a second. Mike Brown is definitely going to play that motherfucker in serious moments with James Harden on the court, and is going to fucking hurt the New York Knicks. I genuinely think it might come down to coaching, because these teams are not that far apart if you actually think about it in like what terms of how talented they are. I don't think these teams are far apart in terms of talent. Also, I'd like to formally apologize to Sam Merrill. I said you were terrible in Game 6. You were terrible in Game 6. Don't get it twisted. But I didn't also see you redeeming yourself to this degree in Game 7. I didn't. What do you have, like 15 first quarter points? He was in nuclear. And then from that moment on, it just didn't get any better for the enemy team. Merrill should never be on the... My thing, though, for me, though, is the defense is going to suffer a lot. Because Jalen Brunson is not like Cade. Cade is... Even though Cade was looking for mismatches, Jalen Brunson really hunts mismatches. Let me look at the last game just to be sure. There are things that I'm missing. I would like to talk about things that Detroit did, but like literally everyone on Detroit was playing bad, just to be quite honest. They just looked like they were tired. Let's see. Yesterday was the 18th. Okay. No, yesterday was the 19th. No, 17th. Sorry. I think today's the first day of the Western Conference Finals, though, so there's that. Yep, today's the first day of the Western Conference Finals. Okay, we'll get a little bit of thoughts on that. All right, Donovan Mitchell had 26, 6, and 8. Sorry, I don't know if it's... I don't have allergies, but, like, it's just a little... dusty in here. I think I need to open a window again. Oh, Dean Wade shows some signs of life. He shot the ball in moments. That was something that I was very happy with. Dean Wade should at least take 3 shots a game. I would prefer if he took somewhere around 5 just to keep the defense honest. Keon Ellis said, man. Oh, yeah. This is just when we cleared the bench. I was like, what the fuck? Strus played great defense on Cade. I think you can throw Strus on Brunson. Not to be like near... It won't be super duper effective or anything, but like... You can still throw Strus at him, and then Strus can still make up for anything that he's doing on with like threes on the other end, or just getting to the free throw line with the occasional cut. Mobley was great last night. I don't think there's anything to be said about that. For me, when you have 20 points in a playoff game, and you have, especially when you're not like a first or second option, and the way you get your 20 is like just really efficient at the rim, with the occasional 3-pointer, that helps a lot. And the six free throws that he nailed. I would say one thing about this team though: the free throw making last night was not that impressive to me. I felt like there was a lot of points left on the board for them to get and clean up. So there's something about that. Jared Allen's great. Jared Allen coming through in another game. The leading scorer of this game was Donovan Mitchell, which I didn't think that was going to happen. He went nuclear in a part of this game. I don't know if you saw the half-court shot that he made. Banked it off the glass. Yeah, that was a sign. I'm not going to lie. There are shots in games where you see them and you're just like, oh, it's gonna be one of those nights. And the passing and playmaking that I saw from Donovan Mitchell last night, especially when he was setting up the two bigs, which is something that I've been begging for them to do. Like, I was like, hey guys, when the bigs are activated, this team is good, like really, really good, because the defense can be made. These guys make up. How do I even say this? When the bigs are playing well on the offensive end, it affects their defensive end as well, and they play better on defense as well. I also just don't think they get called for fouls as often when they're playing good on offense, and because when they're playing good on offense, they can get their defense set. That's a very noticeable thing about this team. If their defense is not set, they're not a very good defense. They're a good enough defense by scheme and size, but like as far as like intangibles that go into defense, that's not a thing that this team really does well. Also, this angle makes me look so bad, but like I just couldn't find a better angle and a better consistent way to get my camera to set up. But yeah, there's that. There's not really a lot to talk about. Sam Merrill. If I told you Sam Merrill and Evan Mobley both shot 7 for 10 last night, would you believe me? Probably not. Sam had 23 points last night. He was 5 of 8 shooting. And by the way, one of those shots, the and one from 4 or 4. A lot of people are going to talk about James Harden's struggles in this last game. I just want to say this really quickly. He didn't turn the ball over nearly as much, right? He was in foul trouble, so he wasn't really getting a rhythm as well, and he limited his turnover. His turnovers being limited into 6 assists, and then they get into the free throw line at this point. That's literally what I need. That's what we need from Harden. We don't need him to be like, I prefer him if he was an 18-6 guy. Or an 18-8 guy. That would be fine with me. Give me 20 and 6. Those are cool. Those are fine for me. The problem with Harden really on this team is the turnovers. If the turnovers are limited, this team is a much better team. New York's not a great transition team. I think that Josh Hart is probably going to be his primary matchup. I'm much more willing to if I'm the New York Knicks, I'm much more willing to throw Josh Hart and him instead of having him on Mitchell. I think that's a mismatch in my opinion. As far as like best possible defensive schemes. And then I think they're probably going to use OG as the primary defender for those guys. The thing is, and I know this sounds pretty obvious to you, but it's something that I need the Cleveland Cavaliers to know as well. The Knicks are not as big as you guys. They are not as a big team. They're going to have moments where they're running small ball, and if there are moments where they're running small ball and you're not dominating that fuck ass 4 guard lineups that I constantly see from this team, you are going to run into problems. They need to limit the offensive rebounding from this team. That is something that they learned from last round. I will say this, Detroit is a much better offensive rebounding team than New York could ever hope to be. So if Josh Hart is grabbing 6 fucking offensive rebounds in one game, we are going to lose this series. It's pretty obvious, in my opinion. Let me actually just see who's all cleared to play. Because that'll actually impact how I think. I think OG should be. By the way, this is a team that we've gone back and forth with this team like all of the time. Officially, the series is split 2-1 Knicks way, right? But the thing is, when we've beaten them and when we played against them, and also the most important and most recent matchup, we blew them the fuck out. And then the second matchup was Christmas, which was a 2-point game. So I'm not really concerned about October 22nd, to be honest. In the Harden era, we're undefeated against them, but that's not really a lot of sample size. I do not know if these guys are going to be healthy. Just based on their season averages per game, they're a better scoring team. They're a better rebounding team. It's a very slight amount in rebounds, and they assist and pass the ball better. They have better steals or slightly worse at blocks. We turn the ball over a lot. They're a more efficient team from 3 and from 2. And the free throw percentage is literally negligible in my opinion. These are factors that the Cleveland Cavaliers can win in this series. I'm not going to lie. The way they match up against each other is very different. So with all that being said, that's probably my coverage for Game 7 and just the pre-lap to the Knicks series. Time to talk about the Spurs in OKC. So the back-to-back reigning MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is going to be going up against the current unanimous Defensive Player of the Year, and I don't know if you know this, but these two teams don't really like each other. Wemby fucking hates Chet's guts. So what am I thinking is going to happen this series, yeah? I'm thinking that, the series with the Defensive Player of the Year and the MVP will be the actual finals, because whatever team inevitably comes out of the East, is probably going to get that belt. And I know you're saying to yourselves, wait a minute, but in a playoff atmosphere, the Knicks beat the Spurs in a one-game sample size, so clearly I should take that to heart. No. Fuck no. What? No. Absolutely not. No. What? No. 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 Yeah, no. Whatever team comes out of the East is not hanging with either of these teams, to be quite honest. Now, the Knicks have a better chance of hanging with these teams, but the Knicks have to deal with what's on their plate first. All right? I'm just going to be honest with you. Now, if the Cavs come out, I mean, let me see. Let me just think about the resume that the Cavs have been placed and giving themselves at this point. They'll have went through a number 1 seed, 61 team. They'll have went through the Knicks, who have been the best offense in the postseason so far. They'll have gone through the Raptors, which honestly, in my opinion, were the best defense in the league so far. And I know you're saying to yourself, but wait a minute, the Timberwolves, and I hear you. The Timberwolves kept the Nuggets below 90 points, and they were the best offense in the regular season. But Nikola Jokic looked like a bitch when he was being guarded by Rudy Gobert, and Wembanyama did not look like a bitch when he was being guarded by Rudy Gobert. Maybe it's familiarity, but I would also say that Rudy Gobert has played significantly more games against Nikola Jokic in the postseason, and not only the postseason, but the regular season as well. So I would wager, in my humblest of opinions, that Jokic should have been ready for this shit regardless, especially considering he's matched up against him in the postseason twice, and this is Wemby's first time in the postseason. Now, it's going to be a little bit difficult for your rookie superstar to go against the defending champions in the postseason, is what I would say if I didn't see these motherfuckers match up against each other 4 times, and the Spurs get the better of the... Sorry, not 4 times, 5 times, and the Spurs get the better out of them out of the 4 times. Let's look at the last matchups to make sure that I'm not lying to you. Okay, the Spurs beat them in February. I don't think anyone was really playing in that game. The Thunder beat them in January, but that was one of the 2 losses the Spurs had in January, so that's something that's significant and something to think about. And then obviously they beat them the time before that, and the time before that. Hey, what the hell? Go back. The website loaded some shit that I didn't exit for it. How do I think this? I think the Thunder who have been... let me just say this really quickly. The Thunder have been completely undefeated this season. I don't know how Jalen... Let me see if Jalen Williams cleared the play. That's something that'll be very important to know. Jalen... I think it's Jalen... Williams? Yeah. Nope, it's spelled the other way. Well, damn. Spelled like traditional Jalen. Is he cleared to play? Yes, Oklahoma City Thunder star Jalen Williams has been officially cleared to play and removed from the injury report as of Game 1. All right, so that's something that I actually did look up myself. Let me actually look up at OG Anunoby as well, because I didn't actually look that up. OG Anunoby. He's set to return Game 1 of the conference finals. Okay, that's cool. I'm glad that we're seeing these teams healthy. I think not wanting to see a team healthy is pussy as fuck. I think that's lame as hell. I would rather lose to a team at their best than play a team and beat them and then... Well, I would like to beat a team, to be honest. But, I would rather play them at their best if I have the opportunity to beat this team. Okay, Jalen Williams. He's going to be suiting up. How does that affect the X's and O's? What's the starting lineups for these 2 teams? I would project... in my humblest of opinion, that Wemby will be starting. I don't know if you know this, but I think Wemby will be starting. Shai will probably also be starting. Not really something crazy. I don't know if you know this, but I think those guys will probably be starting, with their regular season awards and the fact that they're in the Western Conference Finals. I think those guys will probably start. I don't know if Jalen Williams will start in his return, He's not in the injury report, right? But him starting in his return is questionable in my opinion. Not really 100% guaranteed about that. If he's not starting, I would probably start Case and Wallace in that situation. And still have, or AJ Mitchell. Case and Wallace or AJ Mitchell situation. Really, if I just need someone to kind of tire out Stephon Castle if I'm that guy, because I don't want Shea to do it. I think Kayson Wallace would probably be the better matchup there. I think Kayson would be a better idea for them. If you need more offensive production and Jalen Williams is not starting, then you do AJ Mitchell, right? So your 2 guard, that's your 1 and 2. Your small forwards for this team, jeez. They're gonna run Chet. They're probably gonna run Hartenstein as well as their bigs. I think that's just a guarantee. Small forward. Because this is the guy who's probably gonna be your matchup for Vassell. They're not really deep in small forward depth. I don't know who the fuck you throw at him. Got a lot of guards. Let me look at the Thunder roster real quick. I don't know I'm doing this on the fly, but I probably should pause the video to do this, but I don't actually know who they throw at them. Probably. No, I think Wiggins just comes off the bench, probably. Maybe they could throw Caruso here. I think Caruso might start in this situation. If not, I would run Aaron Wiggins. It's interesting. Yeah, it's something. I don't really know. That's up in the air. They can really run. Oh, Lou Dort. Yeah, Dort. What the fuck am I talking? Dort. Dort. Lou Dort. Shea. I would run if I'm starting the series up. I would run Shea. I'd run AJ Mitchell because I don't know how healthy Jalen Williams really is, and I don't want to rush him back into a postseason game that quickly. I trust him. Don't get it twisted. But I don't want to throw him into a postseason game. His first season game is back against the fucking Spurs. It's gonna be tough. They are gonna have to eventually implement him, but he's probably just gonna come off the bench. They've been willing to do that as well. Shea, obviously Shea, AJ Mitchell, Lou Dort, Chet, and then Hartenstein. And for the Spurs, I'm running the exact same shit I've been running the entire postseason, basically. Fox, Stephon Castle, Wemby, Vassell, and Jalen Champagnie. Keep the floor space as possible because these guys do swing and harass the ball. And also, this is one thing that I don't have to worry about Wemby doing that these other subpar bigs do that they played against the entire postseason run. Wemby is not going to put the fucking ball down for you niggas to swipe at it. That's not a thing that's going to happen. So the steals and turnovers that you're going to get off of Wemby, that's not a thing. Wemby might turn the ball over, but you're not going to just be fucking swiping the ball from him. That's not happening. He's going to catch it high, and this team knows to throw the ball high to him. All right? If I had to predict who will win this series, I think that this is a very tough series that I think the Thunder can win. Based on the precedent, though, of the Spurs just hating this team, I got the Spurs in 7. Hell, fuck it. I got the Spurs in 6. I think the Thunder have to beat them in 7. All right, that's it. Like, comment, subscribe if you liked the video. If you didn't like the video, tell me why you didn't like the video in the comment section below. If the energy from this video and the recording was not the way that you liked it, tell me how I should do it, and I'll go into the video all smiley and dandy and whatnot. I am completely dehydrated right now. I recorded this video fresh off of the wake up. With all that being said,